Okay, let's unpack this. We're living in an age where, honestly, information just floods us from every single direction,
Well,
right?
absolutely. It's overwhelming.
And the relentless march of daily tasks, it can feel, well, pretty overwhelming too. So AI automation has burst onto the scene.
Big time.
It promises nothing less than a transformation of how we work, how we learn, maybe even how we live. But here's the catch.
There's always a catch.
Right. With this, seemingly endless array of powerful tools, all vying for your attention, everyone boasting incredible capabilities, how do you even begin to choose the right one for your specific needs?
It's a real challenge. It's like stepping into this huge, sprawling library, but it's full of advanced tech.
Exactly. And you're not just looking for one book, you're looking for this, intelligent system that can actually help you write your own story.
That's a great way to put it.
So today we're going to try and cut through that noise. We're diving deep into the capabilities of two absolute titans in this AI automation landscape.
The big ones.
Yep. ChatGPT, powered by the pretty impressive GPT-4o model, and Gemini, which is leveraging its cutting-edge 2.0 and 2.5 models.
Right, the latest iterations.
Our mission: to distill the most important, sometimes kind of surprising, nuggets of knowledge from recent analyses, from user sentiment, basically give you a genuine shortcut.
Yeah, cut through the hype.
Exactly. Get you truly well-informed about their distinct strengths, their inherent limitations, and really critically, their ideal applications out there in the real world.
Which is what matters.
We're talking practical implications that could genuinely reshape your workflows, whether you're like a small business owner, a software dev, or honestly, just someone trying to streamline their own personal productivity.
And what's truly fascinating here, I think, and maybe often overlooked, is how these two powerful AIs, I mean, they're both incredibly capable, right? They can solve complex problems.
For sure.
But they've actually carved out quite distinct niches.
Mm.
And that comes down to their fundamental architectural design.
Okay, so it's not just features.
No, not at all. We're not just going to, list off features like a spec sheet. We're going to explore how these tools actually integrate into dynamic real-world workflows.
Right.
How they handle diverse data types, text, sure, but also images, audio, video, the complex multimedia stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, which one might prove to be the smarter, maybe more impactful choice for your specific automation needs.
Okay.
It's really about understanding their kind of inherent design philosophies and then seeing how those philosophies translate into tangible benefits, boosting efficiency for you.
So, do you need an AI that's amazing at understanding subtle language nuances or one that can just rapidly synthesize these huge, varied streams of information?
Exactly. That's the core question you need to ask yourself.
That's a perfect framing. So, okay, let's start right there with those fundamental building blocks.
Makes sense.
What are the core automation capabilities that truly define ChatGPT and Gemini? What makes them tick, at their very core? And where do those inherent designs naturally lead them?
In terms of strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. Their strengths, their limitations. We're talking about their very DNA, right? The foundational differences that dictate what they're naturally best at.
And maybe more importantly, where they might struggle.
Yeah, or where they might need a different approach from you. Understanding this is absolutely key, I think, to making an informed, strategic choice.
Right. Not just picking the one that's trending this week.
Or just throwing more compute power at a problem without really understanding the tool's design.
Precisely. You need the right tool for the job.
Okay, first up, let's unpack ChatGPT.
Yeah.
When we talk text-based automation, this is, unequivocally, where ChatGPT, especially with GPT-4o, truly shines.
Yeah, it's bread and butter, really.
Think about the incredible range of tasks it can automate. Generating full-length scripts, for an online video series with perfectly tailored dialogue. Crafting personalized yet automated responses for complex customer inquiries, but maintaining that consistent brand voice.
Which is hard to do automatically.
It really is.
Yeah.
Or producing compelling SEO-optimized content for email marketing, social media, even comprehensive customer support docs.
It's engineered from the ground up, really, to understand, interpret, and produce human-like language. And the fluency, the nuance, it's remarkable.
Really, it makes it such an invaluable asset for pretty much anything requiring extensive text generation, sophisticated comprehension, or even creative writing at scale.
Imagine the time savings. Automatically summarizing, say, a year's worth of complex client emails.
Wow.
Extracting key decisions, action items, or drafting a whole series of personalized follow-up emails after a big conference.
Each one perfectly pitched to the recipient's role in your last chat.
Exactly. That's right, in ChatGPT's wheelhouse.
Okay, so strong on the language front.
Indeed. And building on that, one of its absolute standout features for more advanced automation is its advanced data analysis module.
Right. People might remember that as code interpreter.
Exactly. But don't let that old name fool you. It's not just about writing code in the traditional sense. It means ChatGPT has this remarkable ability to actually run code. Usually Python analyze complex data sets you upload right there.
In the chat.
In the chat. And then generate insightful visualizations directly within that interface.
Huh. So what does that mean for me, practically?
Well, for you, this translates into powerful, pretty accessible capabilities for automating incredibly data-driven tasks.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, imagine you're a developer, right? Struggling to optimize some inefficient code in a huge application.
Been there.
You can feed ChatGPT parts of your code base, ask it to pinpoint performance bottlenecks, and then suggest, even demonstrate refactored code that's more efficient.
Wow, okay.
Or think about debugging those really elusive errors. You give it the error logs, the code snippets, and it can step through, identify the root cause, often even offer a solution.
That's huge for developers. But you said beyond coding, too.
Absolutely. It's a real workhorse for anyone dealing with numerical or logical data. Picture automating robust, comprehensive test cases for new software features before they go live.
Saving potentially big headaches later.
Exactly. Or analyzing intricate financial spreadsheets to spot trends and anomalies without needing separate stats software.
Okay.
It turns what could be hours of manual data wrangling and analysis into like minutes of automated insight, all through natural language prompts.
So it kind of blurs the lines between data analyst and conversational AI.
Precisely. It handles quantitative tasks, but through that natural language interface.
Yeah.
Very versatile.
Okay, and here's where, for me, it gets really interesting and quite empowering for users. Custom GPTs.
Ah, yes, the bespoke AI assistants.
Right. If you're on a Plus or Pro plan, you can basically build your own specialized chatbots.
Tailored for very specific automation tasks.
Exactly. They're not generic. They act almost like custom software apps, but you don't need to know any coding.
Which is huge.
We're talking automating everything from, say, initial customer support triage.
Like answering FAQs, guiding users, escalating complex issues.
Exactly. All the way to highly specific content generation, like drafting legally compliant disclaimers for a new product line based on your internal docs.
Or generating niche industry reports using data you feed it.
And the kicker, the really powerful part.
The integrations.
Yep. These custom GPTs can be linked with thousands of third-party tools via platforms like Zapier.
Which opens up a world of possibilities.
Right. Automate sending ChatGPT's smart responses directly to Google Sheets for logging data. Or trigger an automated email campaign based on input from a custom form.
It's about democratizing workflow automation, really, letting you build your own AI assistant for almost any repetitive task.
Extending its intelligence way beyond just the chat window.
Yes, and its code execution capability is undeniably robust. It supports multiple popular languages, Python, JavaScript, C++, R.
Safely sandbox.
Right, within a secure environment. This is invaluable for automating repetitive coding tasks at scale. Generating boilerplate code, refactoring scripts for efficiency, even creating entire utility scripts from a natural language prompt.
That consistency and reliability in code generation must be a major draw for developers.
It absolutely is. It's a key differentiator. However, and this is important for you to understand, this powerful text and code focus does come with some inherent limitations.
Okay, like what?
Well, its context window for the main GPT-4o model is around 128,000 tokens.
Remind us what tokens are, roughly.
Sure. Think of them as the basic units of language. The AI processes words, parts of words, punctuation. So 128K tokens is roughly maybe 96,000 words, around 200, 300 pages of text.
Okay, that sounds pretty big.
It is substantial, yeah. Good for lengthy conversations or processing decent-sized documents.
Yeah.
But it's notably smaller when you compare it to Gemini's capacity.
Ah, okay. So where does that become a problem?
It can be a significant restriction when you're trying to process extremely large data sets, like a whole year's worth of company-wide emails.
Right, or a massive research paper collection?
Exactly. Or exceptionally long multi-turn conversations where you need deep memory across hundreds of pages. ChatGPT might start to forget earlier parts.
Lose context, essentially.
Yeah, that lost in the middle phenomenon. It loses coherence on points made way back. Also, its multimodal capabilities. Things like natively processing real-time video or complex audio, they're less robust.
How so?
Well, it often relies on underlying subsystems or external integrations for non-text inputs. It has to kind of pre-process or convert these different data types into something it understands rather than understanding them natively from the start.
So it can feel less seamless, requires extra steps maybe.
Exactly. Compared to an AI built from the ground up for unified multimodal understanding, it can feel a bit less integrated. Tag 1.2 Gemini's multimodal and ecosystem power.
Okay, so let's pivot now to Gemini. You mentioned it takes a remarkably different philosophical and architectural approach right from its core.
Absolutely. Unlike ChatGPT's primary text focus, Gemini was built from the ground up as a natively multimodal AI.
Natively multimodal. Okay, what does that truly mean for me, the user? Why is that distinction so critical for automation?
It means Gemini isn't just like tacking on image or audio processing onto a text model. It was designed with a unified understanding across diverse data types from the very beginning.
So text, images, audio, even video. It sees them all together.
Fundamentally, yes. Imagine uploading a complex scientific paper, an infographic that visualizes its data, and an audio recording of a presentation about that research.
Yeah.
And then asking Gemini to synthesize insights from all three simultaneously. It doesn't just process them one by one and try to stitch the understanding together afterward.
It gets the relationships between them from the start.
Precisely. It can fundamentally understand the connections and nuances between these different modalities right from the input. This leads to a deeper, more integrated comprehension.
Which makes it powerful for automating tasks that naturally cross those data boundaries.
Exactly. Like how our brains take in information from multiple senses at once.
That makes sense.
And this natively multimodal design, well, it underpins its truly astonishing massive context window.
Ah, you mentioned this was a big difference. How big are we talking?
For Gemini 2.0 Pro, it can reach up to an astounding 2 million tokens.
2 million, compared to ChatGPT's 128K.
Yep. It's a whole different scale. To grasp that, 2 million tokens.
Yeah.
It means Gemini can handle an almost unbelievable amount of information in a single go.
Like what kind of information?
Imagine processing the equivalent of entire libraries, hundreds of scientific papers spanning decades, huge multi-gigabyte data sets, all at once, without losing context or coherence.
Wow. Okay, so what kind of workflows does that enable?
It makes it ideal for automating exceptionally complex workflows that demand understanding vast, interconnected information. Think analyzing extensive legal docs, thousands of pages of case files, looking for precedents across multiple documents simultaneously.
Right, or processing thousands of customer feedback entries.
Exactly. Entries that might include images of product defects, text descriptions, maybe even audio recordings of support calls, all in one analysis.
Summarizing multimedia presentations, maybe? Slides, notes, audio.
They can do that, yeah. Extracting key takeaways with incredible depth.
Yeah.
It really raises an important question for anyone looking at AI automation.
Which is?
How much data are you really trying to process in one go?
Yeah.
And how critical is it for the AI to maintain that comprehensive, interconnected understanding of the entire data set concurrently?
For big enterprise applications, that must be almost essential.
Absolutely. Where data volume and diversity are huge, this massive context window is often a necessity. It significantly cuts down the need to manually break down large tasks.
Okay, huge context window, native multimodality. What else is a big strength for Gemini?
Another truly massive strength, especially if you're already deep in a specific digital ecosystem, is its seamless native connection to the Google ecosystem.
Oh, right. Google Workspace, Gmail, Docs, Sheets, Drive.
Exactly. If your business or personal workflow is already centered around those tools, Gemini becomes incredibly powerful, almost frictionless to integrate.
How so? What can it automate there?
Things like intelligently pulling specific data directly from recent email threads in Gmail.
Without me copying and pasting.
Right. Or generating comprehensive reports by synthesizing info from multiple Google Docs and Sheets automatically. Or summarizing large files, even entire folders stored in your Google Drive with just a natural language click.
So if you're already living in Google products,
It's not just an advantage, it's a potential game changer. It drastically cuts setup time, eliminates friction. It's like having an assistant who already knows where all your stuff is and how your tools connect.
saving a ton of time jumping between apps.
Immense time and mental overhead, yeah.
Okay, that Google integration sounds powerful.
Furthermore, its inherent integration with Google Search gives it real-time data access.
Ah, so it can pull in live information.
Exactly, which is absolutely critical for automating tasks where up-to-the-minute info is paramount.
Like market trends?
Yep, dynamic market trend analysis reflecting the latest shifts. Financial reporting using livestock data or breaking news.
Personalized product recommendations, maybe?
Perfect example. They need to be current to be effective. Gemini can fetch and integrate that live information directly into its responses or automated outputs. Immediate, accurate context.
Okay, that's a pretty unique capability. But there's always a but.
Right. As powerful as it is, Gemini isn't without its own considerations you need to be aware of.
Such as?
Well, while it's constantly improving, its code generation can sometimes be less consistent, maybe less accurate than ChatGPT's. It might require more debugging or refinement from a human developer.
So it might generate code, but maybe with subtle bugs.
Sometimes, yeah. Users have reported needing more manual checks compared to ChatGPT. Also, sometimes its responses can lack that conversational polish, that natural flow ChatGPT is known for.
Might sound a bit less human.
Perhaps slightly less natural or fluid in dialogue, which could matter for outward-facing automation like customer chatbots, where tone is really important.
Okay, anything else?
Plus, a common criticism is that it doesn't always provide clear, explicit citations for its information.
That could be a problem.
It can significantly complicate verifying automated outputs, especially for critical tasks, legal research, scientific analysis, fact-checking, where source attribution is non-negotiable.
That lack of transparency could undermine trust.
It can be a significant hurdle for certain high-stakes applications, definitely. It might require extra manual verification steps.
Okay, so we've really dug into their fundamental architectures, their distinct design philosophies, but what does all this technical stuff actually mean when you're trying to automate a specific task? Your daily life, your business.
Right, where the rubber meets the road.
Exactly. Where do these theoretical capabilities translate into practical advantages, real-world efficiencies? Let's dive into some common automation use cases and see who takes the lead and why in different scenarios.
Sounds good. Let's break it down. Maybe content creation, coding, data analysis, workflow automation.
Perfect. Let's start with content creation. Hashtag 2.1 content creation. The art of automated words. Right. Automating content. Generating written material that sounds genuinely human, engaging, impactful. Which tool delivers the best output here? What are the nuances?
For generating that really polished, truly human-like content.
Yeah.
A compelling blog post, a persuasive marketing email, snappy social media updates.
The stuff that needs to resonate.
Exactly. ChatGPT generally holds a superior position here. Its core strength is following detailed, nuanced prompts, sticking to style guides, maintaining a cohesive, engaging, consistent tone.
So it's ideal for automating marketing copy or crafting those empathetic customer support responses.
Precisely. For example, it excels at crafting sophisticated backlink outreach emails. Not just grammatically correct, but applying persuasive copywriting techniques within the text. Makes them sound less automated.
More like a real person reached out.
Right. It can take a few bullet points about a new product and flesh them out into a full press release, complete with headlines, a strong narrative.
That level of finesse in language, that's often what people need for content that actually drives engagement.
It understands the subtleties, tone, persuasion, audience-specific language. It's not just filling a word count.
Okay, so ChatGPT for polished text. But what if your content isn't just words? What if it involves images, audio, video, and you need the AI to understand and integrate all of it?
Ah, well, that's precisely where Gemini pulls ahead, thanks to its native multimodal capabilities.
Okay.
It's significantly better for automating content tasks that require multimedia input or depend on that real-time data integration we talked about.
Give me an example.
Think about automating comprehensive product descriptions. The AI analyzes not just text specs, but multiple product images to extract features, benefits, visual cues, then weaves them into a compelling narrative.
Okay, so it sees the product too.
In a sense, yes. Or imagine summarizing lengthy video transcripts from a company webinar, a live press conference, extracting key insights, presenting them digestibly.
That could save hours.
Absolutely. And beyond that, its seamless Google Docs export feature really streamlines report automation.
If your final output usually ends up in Google Docs anyway,
Gemini's native integration makes that flow directly into the format with minimal friction. Super smooth.
so the winner really depends on the type of content.
Exactly. ChatGPT for text-heavy, highly refined, nuanced content where conversational polish is key. Gemini for multimedia-driven content, integrating visuals, audio, or needing that dynamic real-time data. Hashtag 2.2, coding development AI as your digital co-pilot.
All right, now for the tech-savvy folks or anyone involved in software development, how do these AIs stack up as coding assistants? Can they really be your digital co-pilot?
In this critical domain, coding and development automation, ChatGPT generally outperforms Gemini with, I'd say, remarkable consistency.
More consistent. In what way?
It's just more reliable and accurate at generating context-aware code snippets across a wider variety of languages and frameworks.
Yeah.
And crucially, it's incredibly useful for automating complex debugging, pinpointing errors precisely, suggesting effective fixes, or for creating robust, comprehensive test cases for new functions.
So developers are using it for writing functions, optimizing code, automating tests?
Widely, yes. Writing full functions from a simple description, optimizing existing code for performance or readability, automating repetitive testing workflows, generating unit tests for edge cases.
You mentioned an example earlier about a graph.
Yeah, there was a notable case shared online.
Yeah.
A developer needed a graph from Excel data. ChatGPT successfully generated clean, readable Python code, used the right libraries, produced the graph minimal prompting.
And Gemini.
Gemini, according to the user, struggled with that exact same task, gave less accurate or incomplete solutions needing significant manual fixing.
So that consistency and precision, that's a big deal for developers.
It's huge. It accelerates work, reduces errors, helps maintain code quality. It's like having a very knowledgeable senior developer on tap.
Okay, compelling case for ChatGPT in coding. But does Gemini have any place here, or is ChatGPT just the undisputed champ?
Well, while ChatGPT has the edge generally, Gemini certainly has its niche, especially for coding tasks, specifically within Google's own ecosystem.
Like Google Apps script.
Exactly. Automating tasks using AppScript, managing data in Google Sheets programmatically. It's strong there.
Yep.
And its massive context window can be an advantage with exceptionally large code bases.
Processing more of the project at once.
Right. Maintaining a broader understanding of the overall architecture on, say, hundreds of thousands of lines of code. However,
There's a however.
yeah, it's important to note, while it's improving fast, Google's investing heavily currently, it's still considered less reliable for complex general-purpose coding outside its native ecosystem.
So users report needing more manual debugging compared to ChatGPT.
That's the general feedback, yes. So while it has domain-specific strengths, the clear winner for consistent, accurate, complex coding automation in a broad sense,
Yeah.
that remains ChatGPT.
Largely due to its accuracy and those advanced data analysis features.
Exactly. High-fidelity code, execution, and interpretation.
Yeah.
Hashtag tag 2.3, data processing and analysis. Making sense of the numbers.
Okay, beyond content and code, what about making sense of the truly vast amounts of data we all deal with now? Processing, analyzing, extracting those deep actionable insights, whether it's structured spreadsheets or messy text docs.
Right. For automating many common data analysis tasks, like processing CSV files to spot trends, generating insightful visualizations without manual graphing, summarizing key findings from qualitative data like customer feedback.
Yeah.
ChatGPT really excels here. That advanced data analysis feature is the key.
Because it lets you manipulate data right in the chat.
Exactly. It's incredibly convenient for focused text-based or maybe smaller to medium-scale quantitative analysis. You upload a file, sales figures, survey responses, marketing data, and then ask it natural language questions, like what were our top 3 products last quarter? Show me a visual trend.
And it just does it. Writes the code, runs it, shows the chart.
Pretty much. It intelligently writes and executes the Python code needed, performs the stats, presents the answer, often with a clean chart, all in the same conversation.
Making data exploration really fluid, even for non-data scientists.
Very intuitive. It can automatically summarize hundreds of open-ended survey responses, extract sentiment from thousands of reviews, quickly spot patterns in a small business's monthly sales, freeing up valuable human time.
That sounds incredibly powerful for those kinds of analysis tasks, but what if you're dealing with truly enormous data sets? Gigabytes, terabytes, or data that's not just text, a mix of images, video, audio needing cross-referencing.
This is precisely where Gemini shines and carves out its distinct advantage.
Okay, how so?
It's uniquely better suited for automating that large-scale data processing, especially for multimodal or cross-modal workflows.
Like analyzing security footage for anomalies.
Perfect example. Or transcribing and analyzing thousands of customer support calls, audio, alongside their chat logs, text for recurring issues.
Processing huge archives, like historical documents, images, maps all together.
Exactly. Its ability to handle up to 1,500 pages per file, manage 100 milling beat uploads, that positions it strongly for enterprise-level data automation, where sheer volume, velocity, diversity of data are common.
So the strategic choice becomes clearer here too.
I think so. It's Gemini for large-scale, multimodal data processing, big data analytics, media content analysis, comprehensive market research across various streams.
And ChatGPT for more focused, text-based, or smaller-scale quantitative analysis, especially when you want that interactive manipulation and visualization in the chat.
Precisely. Different tools for different scales and types of data challenges. Hashtag tag 2.4 workflow automation, streamlining your daily tasks.
Okay, finally, let's talk connecting these powerful AIs to your broader work environment. How do they help automate daily workflows, bridging gaps between different applications, making your whole process smoother?
Yeah, how do they become more than just standalone tools and really integrate?
Exactly. How do they help orchestrate those multi-step automations?
Right. Well, ChatGPT integrates extensively and broadly with a vast array of third-party tools. That's largely thanks to its robust API and strong partnerships with automation platforms like Zapier.
So it supports thousands of apps: Salesforce, HubSpot, Asana, Slack.
Thousands, yeah. Enterprise CRMs, project management, communication, even accounting tools. For you, this means exceptionally high versatility for automating complex, cross-platform workflows.
Give me an example of a cross-platform workflow.
Okay, imagine ChatGPT generates a personalized follow-up email after a sales call based on transcribed notes. Zapier could then automatically send that email via your Gmail, log the interaction in Salesforce, and create a follow-up task in Asana or Trello.
All automatically after the initial trigger.
Exactly. No manual input needed after that point. And those custom GPTs we talked about, they let businesses, even without deep coding skills, create highly specialized automation tools for niche use cases. This boosts scalability significantly.
Like a tailored customer support bot pulling info from an internal knowledge base and integrating with a ticketing system.
Perfect example, providing consistent, accurate responses across multiple channels. ChatGPT offers unparalleled flexibility to connect and automate across pretty much any software you use.
Okay, broad integration for ChatGPT. And Gemini. How does it play with other apps?
Gemini, as you might guess, truly shines in those Google-centric workflows. It offers an almost unparalleled level of seamless native integration.
So if your whole operation runs on Google Workspace,
then Gemini offers a dramatically frictionless automation experience. It can natively automate tasks like intelligently scheduling appointments via Google Calendar based on detecting intent in emails.
wow.
Summarizing complex docs into a concise brief, drafting sophisticated emails in Gmail using context from Drive files.
All without needing a separate connector like Zapier.
Often, yes, because it's built right in. For businesses already operating predominantly within that Google ecosystem, this native integration drastically cuts setup time, minimizes configuration headaches. It's highly intuitive.
Feels like it's just part of the system already.
Exactly. You're not connecting different services that might occasionally break. They're inherently designed to work together, minimizing friction, maximizing efficiency for those who live and breathe Google Workspace.
So the choice here seems pretty clear too. Gemini for workflows deep inside Google's world.
Where its native intelligence accelerates tasks.
And ChatGPT for broader third-party integrations across diverse platforms, giving you max flexibility to connect to almost anything.
That's a great summary of it.
Okay, we've covered the core capabilities. We've explored practical use cases across content, code, data, workflows. But, as you know, choosing the right AI isn't just about the feature list.
No, the practicalities matter hugely.
Right. How do they fit into your existing setup? What do they actually cost? And crucially, what are other users experiencing day to day in the real world?
Yeah, those practical considerations are often the deciding factor.
Exactly. When you're looking to effectively implement AI automation in your own work or business, hashtag 3.1 integration and scalability fitting into your digital world.
So as we touched on, ChatGPT's ability to integrate with those thousands of third-party platforms via its API and connectors like Zapier, that's a colossal advantage for automating workflows across diverse applications.
Salesforce, HubSpot, project management, comms tools.
Right. ChatGPT can act as this central intelligence layer, orchestrating tasks across almost your entire software stack. You're not locked into one ecosystem. Unparalleled versatility.
And the custom GPTs help with scalability.
Hugely. They provide a highly scalable way for businesses, even without big coding teams, to create specialized automation tools.
Like scaling customer service with an AI bot, or marketing developing content bots quickly.
Exactly, without needing an AI developer for every new campaign. Plus, its underlying architecture on Microsoft Azure ensures fast responses and robust scalability. It can handle increasing demands without performance dropping off.
Providing a stable foundation for growth.
Precisely.
And for Gemini, you said its scalability is largely tied to that deep native integration with the Google ecosystem.
That's right. For organizations already heavily invested in Google Workspace, Gmail, Drive, Docs, Sheets, Gemini's native integration means scalability is almost inherently built in.
It just leverages Google's cloud infrastructure.
Seamlessly, yes. It handles large data volumes, executes complex workflows entirely within that familiar environment. So if your data lives in Drive, your comms are in Gmail, your collaborations in Docs, Gemini scales naturally as your use of those core Google services grows.
Minimal setup within that ecosystem.
Right. Streamlining adoption and automation across the organization. And for businesses concerned with data governance, security.
Operating entirely within Google means adhering to Google's established security protocols.
Often, yes. It can simplify oversight compared to managing integrations across many different platforms with varying standards. Hashtag 3.2, pricing accessibility, what does it cost?
Okay, let's talk about the bottom line. Always critical for users and businesses. What do these powerful tools actually cost? What do you genuinely get for your money? Free tiers, paid tiers.
Yeah, understanding the pricing models is key. So for ChatGPT, there's the free tier, powered by GPT-4o Mini. It's accessible. It comes with usage caps, which can make it pretty limited for high volume or really intensive automation. If you're generating tons of content, running lots of analyses, you might hit those limits fast.
Okay, so what about paid?
The Popular Plus plan is competitively priced, around $20 a month. That gives you full access to the top GPT-4o model, the advanced data analysis features, and significantly higher usage limits.
So that's probably enough for most individual power users or small businesses.
For the vast majority, yes. It's robust and suitably priced for comprehensive AI automation needs. There's also an enterprise tier with custom pricing, but the previously available $200 Pro tier, well, that was generally seen as excessive for typical users, more for huge deployments.
Okay. And what about Gemini's accessibility and pricing? How does it stack up value-wise?
Gemini's free tier, using its 2.0 Flash model, is actually quite generous for many automation tasks. Often fewer initial restrictions, maybe higher usage limits than ChatGPT's free tier.
So you might get more done initially without upgrading?
Potentially, yeah. It makes it a very accessible entry point for experimentation. Then, the advanced plan for Gemini, also competitively priced around $20 a month.
But there's an extra perk.
Yes, a big one. It includes a massive 2 TB of Google One cloud storage.
Ah, that adds significant value if you need cloud storage anyway.
Absolutely. For businesses or individuals needing space for datasets, reports, project files, that's a major bonus integrated into the cost.
And like ChatGPT, it has higher tiers.
Yep, an ultra tier, similar price point to ChatGPT's enterprise offerings, typically for very niche, high-end applications or massive deployments.
So comparing them, Gemini might offer more free utility initially.
Potentially, yeah, fewer constraints.
While at the paid tier, Gemini includes that valuable storage, but ChatGPT offers maybe more unique customization with custom GPTs.
Exactly. They offer different pathways and value propositions at that paid tier, depending on what you prioritize, storage versus specific customization features. Hashtag 3.3, the human element, what users are saying.
Okay, beyond specs and pricing, what are real users actually saying? Day-to-day experience. The true test is always how people use them in practice, right?
Absolutely. Real-world feedback is crucial.
Yeah.
So user sentiment for ChatGPT consistently, overwhelmingly praises its conversational fluency, its effectiveness in automating creative and coding tasks.
You mentioned a user earlier at Genetexol.
Yeah, users like that frequently highlight its ability to streamline workflows, especially in creative content generation, where that human-like output saves immense time drafting, brainstorming, editing.
And customer support automation, too.
Yeah, handling routine queries easily, maintaining a consistent, polite tone, freeing up human agents. The feedback often points to that natural language generation, the overall user-friendliness, makes complex tasks feel intuitive.
The context window issue comes up.
It does. That comparatively smaller context window is a frequently mentioned frustration. Some users note it limits large-scale automation if you need vast amounts of input.
Forces them to manually break down tasks.
Sometimes, yeah. Break down complex tasks or long documents into smaller chunks. which can interrupt the flow, reduce seamlessness for certain extensive automation projects, requires more human intervention than may be desired.
Okay. And Gemini, from a user perspective, everyday strengths, key areas for improvement, according to the people actually using it.
Gemini is widely valued, as you'd expect, for that deep Google ecosystem integration and its powerful multimodal automation capabilities.
You mentioned Atracinta's appreciating the real-time data access.
Right. Users like that find it incredibly beneficial for research-heavy automation staying current with rapidly changing info. Whether for academic research, market analysis, competitive intelligence, that live data pull is a huge asset.
But criticisms exist too. You mentioned that damn coder.
Yeah, some users point out Gemini's responses can sometimes be less polished, occasionally lacking that smooth, conversational flow and nuanced tone of ChatGPT.
Which matters if the output is client-facing.
Definitely. Or just if you need a highly refined voice. Furthermore, occasional inaccuracies are also noted by users, which can significantly complicate verifying automated outputs.
Especially for critical tasks where precision is paramount: financial reports, medical summaries.
Exactly. It often necessitates a thorough manual review, which kind of defeats some of the purpose of automation if accuracy is absolutely critical.
So that raises an important question for you, the listener.
Right. How much does that polish or absolute pinpoint accuracy matter for your specific automation task versus the sheer power of multimodal input and that rapid access to real-time live data?
It's a crucial trade-off to consider based on your specific use case. So, okay, we've dived deep. Core capabilities, practical applications, real-world feedback. What's the final word? Which AI is truly smarter for your specific automation needs? How should you strategically think about bringing them into your daily workflow?
Yeah, it's not just about picking a single winner, is it?
No, it seems more nuanced. Understanding where each truly excels and how that maps onto your unique requirements. Hashtag 4.1, summarizing the strengths and best fits.
Okay, so if we connect all these dots, tie it to the bigger picture, ChatGPT is undeniably the premier choice for sophisticated text-based automation, for complex, reliable coding tasks, and for building those highly customized workflows via custom GPTs.
Its strengths being conversational AI, robust code execution, broad third-party integrations.
Exactly, making it ideal for demanding content creation where human-like nuance is vital, for automating nuanced customer support interactions, for advanced developer tasks, accurate debugging, code optimization, detailed test case generation.
So choose ChatGPT if you prioritize polished, highly articulate, human-like outputs.
Yes. Or if your work spans multiple diverse software platforms needing broad integration outside the Google world. Or if consistent, accurate code generation with robust analysis features is your absolute top priority.
It's built for precision in language and logic.
That's a good way to put it.
And for Gemini, after all this, where does its true distinct power lie for automation?
Gemini truly excels in multimodal and large-scale automation, especially, as we've said, if your operations are deeply embedded within Google's ecosystem.
That native real-time data access, the massive context window.
They make it perfect for extensive research, pulling from diverse dynamic sources. Ideal for processing vast amounts of varied multimedia content, analyzing hours of video or audio alongside text without losing context or needing lots of pre-processing.
And of course, streamlining all those Google integrated workflows seamlessly. Gmail, Docs, Calendar. So choose Gemini if you consistently need to process truly vast amounts of varied data, if up-to-the-minute real-time info is crucial for your automation, or if you primarily operate within the Google environment and just want the most frictionless, natively integrated experience possible there.
It's built for scale, speed, and understanding across diverse data formats.
Exactly. Hashtag 4.2, the hybrid approach.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, when it comes to actually implementing these tools? Do you really have to make a definitive choice, pick just one AI titan? Or is there a more nuanced, maybe even more strategic approach?
Not at all. And this, I think, is where the conversation gets really exciting for forward-thinking professionals.
Okay.
And in fact, what's becoming increasingly clear, what many leading pros are discovering in 2025, is that the most impactful approach is often to use both strategically, leveraging their individual complementary strengths.
So not an either dilemma, more like building an AI toolkit. Exactly. Think of it as building a sophisticated AI command center, tailored to specific stages or types of tasks within your workflow.
How would that work in practice?
Well, for example, you might leverage ChatGPT for its unparalleled strengths in creative content generation, nuanced coding automation. where its consistency, accuracy, conversational polish are critical for high-quality output.
Like drafting a marketing campaign or generating complex code.
Right. Then you can seamlessly turn to Gemini for extensive research that needs live, real-time data, for large-scale data processing involving thousands of pages or diverse multimedia files, or for tasks benefiting from its multimodal capabilities, or that tight Google integration.
Like summarizing a video conference straight into a Google Doc.
Precisely. It's about creating this powerful, synergistic AI toolkit, leveraging the best of both worlds for different parts of your workflow, optimizing each segment with the AI best suited for it.
So you get the best of text precision and multimodal scale.
Exactly. Creating an automation strategy that is truly more powerful than the sum of its parts. It's about smart integration, not exclusive choices. Hashtag outro.
Well, we've taken a comprehensive, really in-depth look today at how both ChatGPT and Gemini can revolutionize your AI automation strategies. We've tried to cut through the noise, deliver the essential, actionable insights you need to make truly informed, strategic decisions for your own workflow. Understanding these distinct strengths, their nuances, their practical limitations, it's really the vital first step towards genuinely transforming how you work and unlocking, hopefully, unprecedented levels of efficiency.
And this raises, I think, an important final question for you, our listener, to consider as you wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
As AI continues its remarkable evolution, constantly pushing boundaries with more sophisticated multimodal understanding, real-time data integration, ever larger context windows.
Yeah.
How will your own unique workflow adapt?
What specific aspect of your work, maybe one you previously thought was too complex, too human-dependent to automate, is now potentially ripe for this kind of intelligent streamlining? Especially by leveraging the combined power of these incredibly powerful, yet as we've seen, quite distinct artificial intelligences.